So we really like to hear rejections are on our forehead from the City of Atlanta Claims Department. And I'll tell you the reason why. Basically, we used all facets of these interventions, from new media to emails to meeting and greeting and potlucks in homes to cloud-based technology and the handheld, but this is in addition to this. And the reason why we love to get rejections from the City of Atlanta is that each level of review, we have these kits. Here we go. We have these kits that we put together that were really painfully detailed in photos that were date stamped. They were also embedded in emails with phone calls, reference time and date stamps as well. It was an amazing amount of information that I'm going to let Susie pass around to the audience, and to give you the level of what we were trying to accomplish. And so from this, we had logs that were like 200 line item entries. That was our breadcrumb trail, is these logs that we talk about in the mapping process of when they picked up our trash or they didn't pick up the trash, or who we talked to. And so we had these little kits, and they were our little survival kits for our claims department. And the City of Atlanta has to review this at each level. First line responder, department bureau heads, elected officials, to legal. A formal response, formal hearing is required back. This costs zero amount to submit. Also, you don't need to be a lawyer. You don't need to have a law clerk. Anybody can do this. What we're trying to do is, we're not trying to extract funds from the city. We just would like to have the funds that we pay for these services be more public health friendly minded. So in that report, we were able to have basically our kits, our interventions, the trash sanitation problems, also the dirty water problems. They were our poster children. They pushed our agenda front and center for these elected officials and department heads to make decisions. Think about it. Good grief. We're over 5 million citizens. How can your voice, how can your message rise up with all this clutter and this chatter? And yelling is really not going to do it. Sending a zillion spam emails is not going to do it. Actually submitting these are strategic, and the best thing too about this is public information. Anybody can reference this and look and see if there are problems. They can even call us, the plaintiff, us, our organization, Centers for Mobilization Transformation, and we can help you free of charge. As I mentioned to you before, we're not charging any money. We're just good Samaritans, and we really enjoy helping out our neighbors. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide that we have, and that is our masterpiece. This is our Journey is Pausing, unveiling of our cloud mobilization framework. In the sake of time, I want to go over three points. They are: this allowed us to more effectively drill down to the policy decision maker and the decision maker points to enable change. We're also going to do an evaluation, a formative evaluation, in a couple months using this mind mapping, so we'll report back to let you know how effective we were. We feel also too is that we were more strategic in our communication and our linkages to our community stakeholders, to actually bring them in and to really have sing from the same sheet of music. We had one voice, a more integrated, more thoughtful outreach efforts. And number three, in the spirit of collaborations and linking our partners, this cloud framework mobilization can be really easily retooled for those communities in need and resource constraints. We're really happy about that, and that's going to be posted on our website as well. Okay, so our journey is about to end, but we're going to start some new journeys. We're happy to report some of our victories. The big kitty from the safari is swimming in a clean watering hole. We have a more open, embedded, transparent policy that we're happy to report back. Not as many problems in our neighborhoods on some of the activities that were happening. The trash intervention campaign we already talked to you about, and we're happy that the city threw in some free Herbie Kirby's trash bins for all of our efforts. The road hazard campaign we're going to mention just real briefly, for the sake of time, is that we were able to do a lot of door knocking and meeting and greeting our neighborhoods to sign petitions and surveys and circle back to our elected officials to have these traffic engineer studies done. Also reallocate TARP money from the president to install speed humps to tame this really road hazard traffic, these speeders that were coming through our neighborhoods. And then, so that in mind, we're going to keep checking in with some of the lessons learned and next steps with our elected officials to let them know that we're still here, we haven't gone away. We're also going to establish a champion program with local high school and college students to help pass the baton and sustain these interventions as some of these wind down and we gear up for new ones. We're also going to do some email blasts to our stakeholder partners, so feel free to sign up with a sheet in the back of the room and get on our email list for our quarterly newsletter. So our new interventions, our new journeys that we're going to embark on would be dog park safety. That's the rage also in a lot of cities, is to have safe dog parks. So we're going to try to address some of those things and challenges. We're also going to look at adolescent child health risk behaviors and attitudes in our communities. And the third, we're going to look at our public school systems and how property taxes and property tax inequities are tied to that to really help out our citizens to speak with one voice. So, please go and join us on Facebook, our discussions on Twitter. Also, please stop by for some free goodies on our website. There's lots of good information about free web hosting, developers, and cloud hosting. As I mentioned, we use Microsoft Live. They also allow you to use their free dummy-down Microsoft Outlet suite from Word, PowerPoint, and so on, so you don't have to pay for that. And that was real important because we had no budget. We had no funding for this. We're also having a little news late breaker that we're collaborating with one of our neighbors to actually have a smartphone app that you can download so you can have our resources anytime, any place, 24/7. So, as we end, we encourage you to be change agents in your community so that you can inform, inspire, and improve your communities. And remember, it only takes one, and you can be that one. Thanks a lot.